Yes, mates, how's it going? My name's Lee, and welcome back to the FPL Punk YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be taking an early look at some players for Game Week 17. These include transfer targets you might want to buy, out-of-form players you might want to sell, and even some players you should wait on before making a final decision. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe down below. Anyway, let's rock and roll.
Be strong.
Right, mates, first up, we've got the man, the myth, the absolute troll, Ryan 8 Nora. Very high on the sell list. If you haven't seen already, he's got his 5th yellow card. He's now suspended for Game Week 17 away to Leicester. We've got a really tough run after this point where they've got Man United, Spurs, Nottingham Forest and Newcastle all in the next 5. 4.7 million defender, 15.7% owned. It's just been a terrible buy for me. I bought him in Game Week 10, I think, and over that time between Game Week 10 and now, he scored a total of something like 14 points. Just an absolute terrible buy. Can't believe I recommended him to everyone. I can only apologise, but the fixtures were there, and I felt like from his attacking point of view that he was there to be attacked, really. One of those, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Definitely lost on this one. Terrible transfer. You could bring in almost anybody around this price point if you've got a little bit extra. We can move up. We are going to take a look at a couple defenders after taking a look at 8 Nora of potential replacement you could bring in for someone like 8 Nora. The Wolves are just terrible defensively. They got beat off with Ipswich today 2-1. 8 Nora got booked, did nothing. Terrible buy. If you've got him, sell him. I just don't see the point in owning him anymore. I've got 2 potential replacements for 8 Nora, and the first one is a little bit cheaper in the Bournemouth defender Huijsen. I think that's how you pronounce his name. 4.3 million defender, 0.6% owned. And the reason why I put him down as a buy is because Senesi is out injured, and he's going to be out injured for a while now. So bringing someone cheap in like this who looks quite classy, I just really like him as an option. They do have a relatively tough game in Game Week 17 away to Man United, but I don't think he'll be a starter most weeks. Like, if you can kind of get him in your rotation of defenders, play him in Game Week 18 at home to Crystal Palace, play him in Game Week 20 at home to Everton. Still got some predicted points that are kind of like pretty decent, to be fair. 4.1, 3.4, 4.3, like around that kind of range. So I do think it's a decent option, and Bournemouth are very hit and miss at the moment. I don't think they're great for clean sheets because not a lot of teams are. Made a total of 9 appearances so far in the league. He's only started the last few, and he's made kind of come on for the last 4 or 5 minutes in a few other games as well. He has scored a goal up against Spurs and kept a clean sheet as well. Got a total of 24 points so far this season. His per 90 data, you can't really kind of put your hat on it too much because he's played so few minutes that it's all kind of skewed a little bit. His XG is decent at 0.17, but again, that's probably come from one massive chance spread across his per 90 data, and it's kind of dwindled down. So from a statistical point of view, I don't think you can rely on the data too much for something like this, but I like Bournemouth as a team. I like Ariel as a manager. I like him as a player. I've kind of kept my eye on him since he came into the league, so only young, a really promising defender, only 0.6% owned. I think if you're looking for a cheaper defender than 8 Nora with some decent fixtures, I don't think you could do far wrong than looking at someone like Huijsen. Let's take a look at another defender who you could replace 8 Nora with. The next defender I want to take a look at is Anthony Robinson, coming off 2 assists versus Liverpool now. Just like him, he's just a really classy left back, one of the better left backs in the league. If Man United were still playing 4 at the back, Robinson would be high on the shopping list for Man United, I think. But now we've reverted to 3 centre-backs and wing-backs. I don't think we're going to be interested in him at all. I could see him playing for most teams in the league. I could see him at Liverpool. I could see him at an Arsenal because he's he's pretty tall as well. But the only team he doesn't get in is Man City just because of the way they play. But I just think he's class. I think he's a really good defender, really quick, decent attacking potential as well. He's got 6 assists so far in the league. Only 4.7 million, so he's kind of like a sideways step in terms of price from 8 Nora. 15% owned, and Fulham have got some really good fixtures. I'm probably not going to buy him because I already own Joaquin Anderson, who's currently out injured, and I don't really want to double up on the Fulham defence. But I think if you are looking for a Fulham defender, Anthony Robinson should be really hard on your list. They've got Southampton at home in Game Week 17, followed by Chelsea away. Yeah, it's not a great fixture, so if you can kind of move around that and kind of maneuver that Game Week 18 fixture away to Chelsea, followed by Bournemouth at home, Ipswich at home, and West Ham away. I do like the back-to-back home games up against Bournemouth and Ipswich. Feels like a good buy for the next 5 or 6 game weeks, to be honest. some of his per 90 data. He's like, his XG is really, really low, but like he's got decent attacking data from an assist point of view with 0.13 expected assists per 90. Like I said, like he has got 6 assists so far in the league in 16 appearances, and Fulham have kept 2 clean sheets. I think they're slightly better than that. Like we also how many clean sheets they kept last season. So I think if they can kind of get back to that number and maybe start to hit double figures towards the end of the season, then I think it's going to be a great pickup for the kind of medium to long term. Yeah, I think he's the best Aït-Nouri replacement, but I think if you need to go cheaper, looking at someone like a Højsund, even coming right down to somebody like a Vandenberg, yeah, Brentford haven't got great fixtures, but at least he plays. That's kind of thing I'd be doing and looking at right now. The first midfielder I want to talk about, and one that I never thought I'd even kind of mention on this channel at all from a kind of transfer target point of view, and I hate to say it, but I bought him for game week 16. Enzo Fernandez, mate, like what a world we live in nowadays. Like, somebody asked me about him on the channel a few weeks ago, and I was like, nah, he's terrible. But I think with the new role he's kind of playing, he looks pretty good. Like, I think as long as he keeps getting the minutes and he keeps getting in the positions, Chelsea are a good team. He's going to keep getting points. Really like him from a price point of view at 5 million. He's going to go up tonight to 5.1. Just allows you to do so many things in the rest of your team. 8.1%, and his ownership is just always increasing. 14 appearances so far in the league, 3 goals, 3 assists, total of 54 points. Most of those returns have come in the last 5 or 6 games, and he's playing in a slightly modified position. He's playing a little bit higher up, like almost alongside Cole Palmer. They were playing Caicedo right back with Lavia in the defensive mid, and then when they attack, Caicedo moves into the alongside Lavia to create a double pivot, which then pushes Fernandez up into that kind of number 8-10 position alongside Cole Palmer. I'm not sure if they're going to stick with that, but they have been playing pretty well. They've got some great games coming up here as well. Ignore the Everton fixture in red. All the next fixtures over the next 8 or 9 are all green. I like most Chelsea assets for the next 8 or 9 games. I could even mention some Chelsea defenders to replace Aït-Nouri with. Probably if anyone, I'd probably look at some like a Colwell. If you could get up to one of the more attacking ones, I'm not even convinced that Cucurella or Augusto are 100% nailed on starters, so it's probably only Colwell that I'd go for. And Fernandez is very much on that kind of wait and see to buy kind of range. I think if you haven't got him, then you could just... you don't have to be the first ones to jump onto him. Like, he's like the guy is so cheap. Like, if you own someone like a Morgan Rogers, moving on to an Enzo where you don't have to be the first one to buy him, see if he actually gets the minutes and see if he keeps it up, it could be an absolute bargain at 5 million. I'm not convinced at all that he can keep this up, but I think because of his price range and the fixtures, they just feel very attackable. And that's the main reason for me, as the reason why I'd be leaning more on the buy side of things. I think if you're looking for a really cheap midfielder, there aren't many out there. I don't like Morgan Rogers right now. So like Semenyo's just fell off a cliff. We're going to take a look at another midfielder in a minute who is on that kind of budget side. But I think if you want someone around the kind of 5 to 5.2 range, Enzo Fernandez is the best for me. I don't think you could look at an Ahmad when he's playing right wing back. Yeah, just never thought I'd see the day, mate. Like, next up, I'm probably very similar to the Enzo Fernandez. Like, never thought I'd kind of recommend Alex Iwobi as an option in FPL. 5.7 midfielder, 4.2% owned, plays for Fulham, great games, as we've already discussed with Anthony Robinson. Well, he kind of plays a bit all over the place, but so far he's got 16 appearances so far in the league, 5 goals, 3 assists, total of 78 points, which is up there with some of the best in the league. I think he might even be top 5 for highest scoring midfielders. And he's very much like similar to Enzo, kind of wait and see. If you've got him, you obviously play him. If you don't own him, maybe just see how he plays in the Southampton and Chelsea game and then reassess in game week 19. Or if you want a full midfielder, I don't even mind going for Iwobi. Like if you're convinced that someone like an Andres Pereira has got his place back and is going to play 90 minutes every single week, probably on penalties as well. Like, we don't know who's on penalties like when everyone's on the pitch. Pereira's probably like 5'2", 5'3". Like, could you look at Pereira instead? Yeah, maybe. Like, I don't mind either of those at all, but they've always been in great form. So I think we have to discuss him right now. So we've predicted points are beneath the fixture at the bottom, where he's predicted to get 4.9 points up against Southampton at home, 4.5 points predicted versus Bournemouth. 4.9 points versus Ipswich. So like he's predicted like pretty good points over the next 5 or 6 games. So I think if you're looking for a full midfielder and you're not convinced of the other players' minutes, go for Alex Iwobi. I'd probably keep an eye on it though, and probably keep your eye on Andreas Pereira, because I think if he can get back into the team and start playing 90 minutes, he did get a return today. I don't know if it was a goal or an assist. I think he got an assist versus Liverpool today. Then it might be Pereira, to be honest, but I do like Iwobi as an option. The first forward I wanted to discuss was Matheus Cunha, and it's a really hard one because he's been so good for me over the last few game weeks. He did blank recently, but he did score again today up against Ipswich, and he's just an absolute baller, mate. Absolute baller. 8 goals and 3 assists so far in the league, total of 86 points. Underlying data is great. Like, he gets a lot of shots, gets a lot of key passes. His expected goals and expected assists aren't great at 0.23 and 0.18. But it just seems to score goals. Like, he just seems to get goal returns every single week, and he's only 7.1 million. I think there are probably better options over the next 5 than Cunha. But I think if you can wait for the Leicester game, then that's probably what I'd do, and then probably reassessing game week 18, 19. I wouldn't even mind playing him against Man United in game week 18. Like he's played well against us in the past. He could easily return in that game. They got beat by Ipswich today. Gary O'Neill's probably going to get sacked, or he probably should get sacked. Like, Wolves are just terrible defensively. So it'll be interesting to see which direction they go in. If they do sack him, who do they bring in? What kind of football do they play? Feels like there's a lot of unknowns there, where you probably don't. You obviously don't go out and buy someone like Cunha with like with these kind of fixtures. But I think if you can wait for that game week 17 game, then you might be in a better position for kind of moving forward. I think if you are forced to sell, or if you're kind of fed up and you want to get in a better forward, I wouldn't even mind selling him straight away. Like he's very close to being sold for me, even in game week 17. So I can understand the reasons why people might want to sell him. Whether I eventually sell him or not, I'm not sure, because there is one more forward that I'll take a look at in a moment, who's very high on the list. He's just a little bit more expensive than Cunha, so just a close one. If you've got him, tough choice. Last but not least, we've got Alexander Isak, 8.6 million forward from Newcastle, 24.2% owned. Back in form. As soon as I sell him, he starts banging the goals in again. Like, oh God, mate, mate, you're killing me. Absolutely killing me. I brought him in for 2 weeks, gets injured, sold him, comes back in straight away and starts scoring. It's like, killing me. Absolutely killing me. Underlying data is great. He's an absolute beast. Like, banging form. I think his XG today up against Leicester was something like 1.56, something like that. Expected goals for that game, absolute monster. Ipswich away in game week 17, great fixture. Newcastle haven't historically been great away from home, so whether you could wait for that one, I think you probably could. I think if you really want to go and buy him and you own Cunha and you've got the money, I'd probably do it. Villa away in 18, Man United at home in 19, followed by Spurs away and Wolves at home in 21. He's just such a good option, and he's such a great number 9, and he's in such good form. I don't think opposition is going to matter. I think you could play him at home to Villa, you could play him at home to Man United, away to Spurs. Like, Spurs have been weaker, and then we've all seen how bad Wolves have been recently, so I think you could play Isak in every single game. He's just fitness issues are the only thing that concerns me. They don't have a backup number 9. They probably need one soon, because Callum Wilson's, I think he's re-injured himself, so he's going to be out for a while. Mate, I love him. I think he's an absolute beast, and I think if you can do it in one move, I'd just go out and get him straight away. I think he's going to continue to pick up points, continue to score goals, and especially over the next 5 or 6 game weeks, I think he's just going to absolutely smash it. Alexander Isak, my number 1 transfer target for any position in game week 17. If you can do it, go out and get him. Right, mates, that's it for today's video. So we looked at some players who I think you should buy, players who I think you should sell, and then some players that you should either avoid or hold for now and kind of wait until you make that final decision. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment down below. Have a good day. Peace and love. Good luck for game week 17.